The clouds had covered the land for countless years, concealing mountains, seas, and secrets alike. Beneath this endless white expanse, a single crack split the earth, silent, ancient, and unfathomably deep. It was said that once one stepped into this abyss, neither life nor death would remain entirely one's own. If you enjoy my way of explaining and storytelling, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really motivates me to keep creating. In the blink of an eye, several months slipped silently by. The war within the Fire Demon country underwent earth-shaking changes, and the Sky Demon country ultimately withdrew its forces. A conflict that had endured for nearly a century came to its end amid the mutual devouring of ancient demons. Ancient demon Bei Lo completed his first act of devouring, fusing completely with the ancient demon of the Fire Demon country. His strength soared to an unprecedented level. He no longer needed Wang Lin's blood to manifest a physical form, nor did he require assistance to depart. He could move freely on his own. Wang Lin sat cross-legged in meditation within Dragon Lake near the capital of the Sky Demon country. His eyes were closed, his face calm and unreadable. The moment he had touched the bone, he entered a mysterious, indescribable state. After Bei Lo devoured the other ancient demon's soul, he used a spell to transport Wang Lin to this place. Time flowed onward, and several more months passed. On this day, Wang Lin slowly opened his eyes. At the instant his eyes opened, a flash of golden light flickered within them. His aura was vastly different from what it had been before he entered the Fire Demon country. At first glance, he resembled an ordinary mortal scholar. There seemed to be no trace of celestial spiritual energy within his body, making him appear entirely mundane. Yet a faint fragrance lingered around him, subtle, refined, and tranquil, granting him an air of elegance that set him apart. After opening his eyes, Wang Lin exhaled deeply, releasing a mouthful of turbid air. My ancient demon race has possessed a certain spell. Since the dawn of time, an ancient voice echoed within his mind. This spell allows us to comprehend the heavens and the earth, to derive our own divine abilities. It can also be used upon other life forms. However, aside from my ancient demon race, all others may experience it only once in their lifetime. Wang Lin pondered silently, then closed his eyes once more. The scene of his fusion with the grey-robed figure resurfaced vividly in his mind. Looking back now, it felt unreal, like a dream, yet a lingering fear still stirred deep within his heart. Aside from you, I bestowed this inheritance upon only 2 other cultivators, the voice continued. Both were able to sense the transformation awaiting them in the next realm, and each gained a new understanding of their own spells. The second cultivator in particular possessed the greatest talent I have ever seen. He succeeded in creating his own spell. That child's talent was no weaker than that of my ancient demon clan. Wang Lin slowly opened his eyes and asked calmly, "Who was he?" "His name was Sun Yun. I wonder, have you heard of him?" The ancient demon's voice carried a hint of nostalgia. "Sun Yun," Wang Lin murmured. His eyes flickered as he pondered briefly. Then he spoke again. "Senior ancient demon, there is still one final matter left in our agreement." A fierce demonic wind suddenly rose within Dragon Lake, forming a swirling vortex. It swept violently across the area before dissipating in front of Wang Lin, revealing a youth with an unmistakably demonic appearance. What stood out most were the youth's emerald green eyes. They radiated a sinister demonic light, making him appear eerie and otherworldly. After appearing, he glanced at Wang Lin, smiled faintly, and said, "I naturally would not forget my promise. While you were comprehending, I used a spell to locate the divine sense body from the pagoda." As he spoke, he casually waved his hand. Countless specks of light appeared, gathering together to form an image. The image depicted an enormous chasm. From above, it resembled a gigantic lai in the earth itself. Black strands of mist surged out from time to time, and the force of their eruption caused even the image to tremble. "This place is known among you cultivators as the Tide Abyss," the youth said calmly. "Your friend's aura is within it. The Tide Abyss has 6 entrances. Go to the one located in the Water Demon country. It is the closest to your friend." Wang Lin studied the image carefully. After a moment of contemplation, he asked, "What exactly is the tide abyss?" The youth hesitated briefly before answering. There exist certain regions in space where the fabric of space collapses countless times. Because of this constant collapse, a tunnel leading into the unknown is formed. Within it exists a suction force beyond imagination. The tide abyss is one such place. Ancient demon, Bei Lu said no more, and Wang Lin did not press further. He could clearly sense that Bei Lu was concealing much from him. Yet if Bei Lu chose not to speak further, questioning would be futile. Maintaining a calm expression, Wang Lin asked slowly, "If there are 6 entrances, then what about the exits?" The youth smiled faintly, a smile tinged with demonic intent. "There is only one exit," he said, "and it lies within the fire demon country." As he spoke, his right hand reached out toward the image, which promptly collapsed. He caught all the dispersing specks of light and compressed them into a piece of jade no larger than a finger. With a flick of his wrist, he tossed it toward Wang Lin. "Take this. Your divine sense may enter it and borrow my vision to observe everything inside the tide abyss. Consider it a gift for completing our agreement." Wang Lin caught the jade, clasped his hands respectfully, and said, "Many thanks, senior ancient demon." The youth shook his head with a smile. "It is I who should be thanking you. You should depart. Now I must enter secluded cultivation for a time." Wang Lin rose to his feet and stepped forward. His figure faded, completely vanishing from Dragon Lake. The youth gazed in the direction Wang Lin had left, his eyes glowing with demonic light. "I need only 100 years to completely absorb the remaining 7 ancient demons. When that time comes, ancient demon Bei Lu shall be reborn." Ancient devil. Tajia, back then you stole the reward after the great battle. In 100 years, I want to see just how much you have recovered. And there is also that little fellow. Within his soul resides the aura of an ancient god. Though faint, it is incomparably pure, a supreme tonic for both the ancient demon and ancient devil clans. Yet the purer this aura is, the less I dare to devour it. Just recalling it caused his heart to tremble. Ancient gods are the clan that seized the majority of power when the ancient order split apart. That strand of aura within the boy is terrifyingly powerful. The one who left it behind was at least an 8-star ancient god, very possibly even 9-star. A 9-star ancient god. Even if I were to join forces with ancient devil, Tajia, such a being could kill me with ease. Most importantly, hidden deep within that aura was an extremely well-concealed intent. The instant I sensed it, my heart shook violently. Only one thing in existence can evoke such a feeling: the royal bloodline. It was precisely because of that aura that I was able to manifest a physical body after borrowing his blood, without worrying about his mind collapsing. I did not tell him the truth back then. Merely possessing the aura of an ancient god would not have been enough without that trace of royal bloodline. It would have been impossible. If ancient devil, Tajia, and I have survived until today, then an ancient god may well still exist. If I were to extract and absorb that aura, it would be tantamount to planting a seed of catastrophe for the future. I can resist this temptation, but I do not know whether ancient devil Tajia can. The Tide Abyss was one of the most mysterious regions within the demon spirit land. It was the source of the tidal phenomenon observed outside. Over countless years, enormous quantities of magical treasures, spirit stones, and spirit beasts had been swallowed by the tides of space and dragged into this abyss. Deep within the Tide Abyss, black mist stretched endlessly in all directions. Within it lay an open area, roughly 1,000 feet wide, where several figures sat in meditation. One of them was a middle-aged man. He was handsome, yet his face carried a trace of sinister cruelty. From time to time, an ambitious aura would seep from his body. He sat cross-legged at the center, his expression cold and indifferent. Dense streams of deathly energy coiled around him as he continuously stroked a grotesque skull held in his right hand. His eyes opened and closed intermittently. Whenever they opened, a gaze so dark and oppressive was released that anyone who met it would feel their heart collapse. Beside him sat 4 others, all dressed in blue robes, with large swords strapped to their backs. Their expressions were equally gloomy. At that moment, the black mist ahead suddenly churned violently. A figure burst out from within, revealing another man in blue. His expression was bitter as he said, "Senior Greed. The beasts within the mist have not dispersed, and there are even more than before." The middle-aged man was Greed. He snorted coldly. "I underestimated this place. All the beasts here were drawn in from the vastness of space and strengthened by the mysterious power of this region. It is only natural for formidable beasts to appear." At this time, a Dalu sword sect disciple who had remained silent spoke up. "Senior Greed, there are simply too many of these beasts, and every one of them is extraordinarily fierce. Ordinarily, such creatures would be widely known. Yet I have thought long and hard, and still cannot recall what kind of beasts they are." This disciple sat in a peculiar position, as though all the others naturally centered around him. Greed turned his gaze toward the speaker. He knew this man held an exceptionally high status among the disciples. It was their head senior apprentice brother, Qianlong. Qianlong was the favored disciple of Sword Saint Ling Tianhu. He was shrewd and deeply calculating, and his cultivation was concealed so thoroughly that even Greed needed to examine him carefully to detect clues. On the surface, Qianlong appeared to be at the late stage of soul transformation, but in truth, he had already reached the early ascendant stage. Though he did not possess the highest cultivation among the 12 swords, even Cho Nu, who had reached the mid-ascendant stage, treated him with utmost respect. After hearing Qianlong's words, Greed pondered briefly and said, "These beasts are indeed strange. Even I have never seen them before. Space is infinite, and the workings of the heavens are unfathomable. It is impossible for cultivators to know all life forms. These creatures were likely drawn in by the tidal phenomenon that occurs once every 5,000 years. They have probably existed here for an extremely long time, so it is not surprising that they are unrecognizable." Qianlong fell silent, and the others lapsed into contemplation as well. Gradually sharp, piercing roars echoed from within the black mist. At its edge appeared a massive beast, dozens of feet wide. Its body covered in black fur and its mouth filled with razor-sharp fangs. It flapped its wings as if commanding the surrounding beasts to encircle the area. Its crimson eyes emitted an icy, murderous glow, and its elongated maw alone was enough to make hearts tremble. If Wang Lin were present, he would immediately recognize these creatures as mosquito beasts, though these were not the familiar golden-purple variety. Wu Ma, who stood beside Qianlong, wore a dejected expression as he whispered, "Shen Hao's body has already been devoured by them. Even his origin soul failed to escape." A trace of bitterness surfaced on Qianlong's face. Among the 12 swords, aside from Wei Yan, who had fallen, and Zishu and Haiju, who had remained outside, the remaining 9 had all followed. Greed into the tide abyss. Greed had claimed that after observing this place for some time, he concluded that the greatest treasure of the demon spirit land lay within the tide abyss. Apart from Qianlong, everyone else had been tempted by Greed's words. They had personally witnessed countless treasures and rare wonders, objects that could make any cultivator's eyes burn, with Greed being swallowed by the East Demon Spirit Sea and dragged into the Demon Spirit Land. It could be said that their purpose in coming here, aside from seeking the ancient demon's inheritance, was precisely to obtain these treasures. Qianlong had always been cautious. Though he sensed that something was amiss, he could not find a concrete reason to refuse. However he had made preparations, he did not allow everyone to enter together. Instead, he split them into 2 groups, sending 3 people under Cho Nu's leadership to enter through a different entrance. They maintained communication with each other and even left Zishu and Haiju outside as a safeguard. At the beginning, upon entering the tide abyss, everything had gone smoothly. But all of that changed the moment Greed retrieved an unknown object from a cave. They were suddenly assaulted by these mysterious beasts, trapped with no way out. Escape was impossible, and they had been stranded in this abyss for nearly 100 years. Though 100 years sounded long, it passed in the blink of an eye for cultivators. Here there was no distinction between day and night. Dark fog engulfed them endlessly, and the moment they dared to step outside, they would be met by relentless attacks from countless ferocious beasts. Junior brother Shenhao had perished while attempting a forced breakthrough, even though he unleashed their master's sword energy before his death, slaying several beasts. Their numbers were simply too overwhelming. Qianlong knew that even if they gathered all the remaining sword energies, it would still be impossible to escape this place. "This cannot continue," Qianlong said quietly. He took a deep breath, stood up, and looked straight at Greed. His movement immediately caused the other 4 Dalu sword sect disciples to rise as well. They spread out surrounding Greed in a faintly hostile formation. Greed's expression remained gloomy as he let out a hoarse chuckle. "Fellow nephews, what is the meaning of this?" In a solemn voice, Qianlong replied, "Senior Greed Junior wishes to know what exactly did you obtain in that cave?" A hint of mockery flashed through Greed's eyes. "You want to know?" he said calmly. He slapped his storage bag, and an oval-shaped egg appeared in his palm. The egg showed no signs of life. Instead, it was enveloped by a dense aura of death. Qianlong's gaze lingered on the egg. Over these years, he had gained a certain understanding of greed. Greed's cultivation path revolved around death, so it would make sense for such an item to aid him. Yet Qianlong could not be certain this was truly the object Greed had found. "Little brats," Greed said coldly, "I will overlook your disrespectful tone once for the sake of your master. If there is a next time, do not blame me for being ruthless." "Humph! When I began cultivating, you had not even been born. No one who dares speak to me in such a manner lives." His eyes turned icy. Though his voice was low, it thundered in the ears of the Dalu sword sect disciples. Aside from Qianlong, everyone subconsciously retreated a step. Qianlong lowered his head, but a flicker of killing intent flashed in his eyes. He cupped his hands respectfully and said, "Please forgive us, Senior." Junior merely acted out of impatience. "After all, we have been trapped here for nearly 100 years. Greed closed his eyes and replied indifferently, "What is there to rush? At most, your master will arrive within 100 years and rescue you." Qianlong sat down cross-legged once more, his mind churning. He had already sensed something deeply unsettling about Greed. Greed seemed unwilling to leave this place. There had to be a reason. While the Dalu sword sect disciples were locked in tension with Greed, Wang Lin was rapidly approaching the Tide Abyss exit in the Fire Demon country. He had already learned of the Tide Abyss from Yao Shixue. According to her, the token that could make even the All-Seer's eyes burn with desire lay deep within the Tide Abyss. Wang Lin also knew that Greed and the Dalu sword sect disciples had mysteriously vanished 100 years ago, their whereabouts unknown. He boldly suspected that Greed's group had entered the Tide Abyss as well. If they emerged, it would not pose a problem. But if they were still trapped inside, Wang Lin would need to make proper preparations at the Fire Demon country's exit. Using greater teleportation, Wang Lin traveled at astonishing speed toward the exit. As he flew, his thoughts involuntarily drifted back to the moment he fused with the grey-robed figure during the ancient demon's inheritance. That grey-robed figure was the cultivator of the celestial slaughter art. At the instant of fusion, Wang Lin felt as though enlightenment had descended upon him. His slaughter energy surged from 1 million strands to 10 million. Yet the moment the slaughter energy reached 10 million, all the life seals suddenly fused together, forming a strange and inscrutable symbol. This symbol contained the power of 10 million strands of slaughter energy. The instant it appeared, it escaped Wang Lin's control and branded itself between his eyebrows. It pierced through his body and landed directly upon his origin soul, merging with the origin energy within. As the two fused, a terrifying transformation occurred. The connection between Wang Lin's body and origin soul was severed. Within 3 breaths of time, his origin soul melted away, absorbed completely by the symbol. All the vitality within his body transformed into grey strands of mist and was likewise devoured. Wang Lin witnessed everything from a third-person perspective. After experiencing this scene, A bone-chilling coldness and monstrous killing intent surged in his eyes. He watched as his body, his origin soul, his entire existence was consumed by the symbol forged from 10 million strands of slaughter energy. Then, like a parasite that had drained its host dry, the symbol burst forth from his body. With a deafening bang, it transformed into a single strand of slaughter energy, carrying with it the stench of blood. This was true slaughter energy. Wang Lin's heart trembled. Even now, recalling that scene filled him with lingering dread. He took a deep breath, suppressing the coldness and killing intent that threatened to erupt from his eyes, burying them deep within himself. He could not determine whether what he experienced in that mysterious space was real or illusory. Yet, based on his understanding of the celestial slaughter art, he knew it was not false. That mysterious state was as though time itself had descended upon him, allowing him to comprehend a spell to completion in an instant, deepening his understanding beyond all limits. Those favored by the heavens could even create their own spells within that state, refining them through countless simulations until they approached perfection. Sun Yun was such a person. Wang Lin's talent had transformed greatly over 800 years, further enhanced by his celestial body. Even so, compared to Sun Yun, whose talent astonished even the ancient demon, he still fell far short. He could not create his own spell. Instead, relying on sharp wit and keen observation, he grasped clarity in the shortest possible time and decisively fused with the rapidly fading grey-robed figure. It must be said that Sun Yun only regained clarity after most of the illusions had vanished. Wang Lin's decisiveness was something few could rival. Even the All-Seer would never have imagined that Wang Lin could obtain the true secret of the celestial slaughter art. During the ancient demon's inheritance, All-Seer Wang Lin murmured coldly, his voice echoing through the heavens like an icy wind. "I once said that if you did not betray me, I would not betray you. The celestial slaughter art is indeed terrifyingly profound. But you All-Seer are far too vicious. Fortunately, my comprehension was limited to 1 million strands. Had I truly reached 10 million, I fear I would have already become that symbol transformed into true slaughter energy, only to be absorbed by you." He exhaled deeply as he flew onward. The grey-robed All-Seer once said he taught me the celestial slaughter art because of my domain. At the time, I did not think much of it. Now, I fear it was because he saw my life and death domain on Suzaku that he chose to accept me as his disciple. Wang Lin closed his eyes. When he opened them again, they were clear and calm. He teleported, vanishing from sight. I may be overly cautious, and I cannot yet draw a final conclusion. The All-Seer has shown me kindness, and learning the celestial slaughter art was my own choice. Yet, he did push me forward. I must observe carefully in the future. The All-Seer is far too powerful. Until I possess sufficient strength, I cannot let him know that I understand all this. As for the celestial slaughter art, I must study it carefully and find an opening. Wang Lin remained at the Tide Abyss exit in the Fire Demon country for several days. He did not set up any powerful seals or restrictions. Instead, he did the opposite, placing simple yet exquisitely concealed tracking restrictions. These restrictions held no offensive power. However, once someone exited the Tide Abyss, the restriction would silently imprint itself upon them, allowing Wang Lin to track their movements. Unless their cultivation was extraordinarily high, detecting the imprint would be impossible. After completing his preparations, Wang Lin cleared his mind of distractions and flew toward the Water Demon country. He intended to enter the Tide Abyss from there and devote all his effort to searching for Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi was his benefactor. Wang Lin had to save him. Besides rescuing Senior Zhou Yi, there is also... Wang Lin's eyes gleamed as he teleported. Wealth. Back during the tide phase, he clearly remembered seeing wealth flash past him. Several days later, in the western region of the Water Demon country, lay a place known as the Cloud Sea. It was shrouded in clouds for most of the year. Deep within the sea of clouds, a massive crack split the earth, stretching for countless kilometers. This was one of the entrances to the Tide Abyss. At this moment, 4 cultivators, 2 men and 2 women, stood at the edge of the cloud sea, gazing into its depths. That's all for today's content. See you in the next part. Support me by becoming a member. It will give me more motivation. Thank you so much.